Second, in one of boxing's most anticipated fights of the year, the social media sensation and lightweight contender, Garcia will, as always, bring in a... When one mentions active boxers nowadays, it's usually met with referrals to current world champions in the heavier weight classes.
Do I want to fight Anthony Joshua? Ask me.
Do you want to fight Anthony Joshua?
Yes!
But when interacting with a younger, more socially connected audience, the answers seem to shift towards a different name: Ryan Kingry Garcia. Sporting good looks and a boyish charm, Ryan Garcia has amassed to date a social media presence of over 8 million followers across Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And while some might argue the prior is the American-born's greatest achievement to date, Ryan Garcia has slowly, but surely, captured several notable victories. Perhaps the most prominent being in last February, where Garcia picked up the biggest win of his career, a first-round knockout over veteran Francisco Fonesco.
Oh, and a left hand! Sits take it down! Flat on his back! It's over!
Francisco previously went 9 rounds with current 130-pound champion and longtime rival to Ryan Garcia, Gervonta "Tank" Davies. It was Garcia's second straight first-round stoppage, the first coming 3.5 months earlier, when Garcia dropped and stopped the rugged Romero Duno. Garcia's performance had drawn such high praise that he was even tentatively scheduled to face former lightweight champion Jorge Linares a few months later, before the COVID pandemic wiped out the boxing schedule for all those involved.
But come on. I killed both of them with my press, with my combination, because I wasn't the best moment that time.
It's hard to believe at one point, Ryan Garcia's future as a premier fighter seemed to be in limbo after a couple of iffy and shaky showings in 2018. Usually, a developing young prospect would be permitted 1 or 2 unspectacular performances as they continue to learn the ropes. However, Garcia's star power meant that in 2018, 2 underwhelming displays saw him bear serious criticism. The reason being was, he was tested for 10 rounds by both Jason Velez and Carlos Morales, with the latter bout against Morales being too close for comfort as the unfancied opponent had late success. The Morales fight was so competitive, in fact, that one judge had it a draw, with the other 2 saving the 2017 ESPN Prospect of the Year further blushes. Even though Ryan was still undefeated, it prompted Garcia to reevaluate his training conditions, with a talented American linking up with 2019 Trainer of the Year, Eddie Reynoso. Eddie Reynoso is one of boxing's hottest trainers and best known as the head corner man for Canelo Alvarez, the current unified super middleweight world champion and undoubtedly boxing's biggest star currently. It made sense for such a move. Not only had Ryan Garcia found a world-class trainer, but he was now surrounded with numerous professional world-class athletes to train alongside with and learn from.
Peleador realmente muy completo, como hay muy pocos en la actualidad y muy pocos en el boxeo mexicano.
And while Ryan Garcia would experience personal troubles correlating to outside of boxing in recent months, in terms of boxing, since his link-up with Reynoso, Garcia has been on an upward trajectory ever since. If Ryan Garcia has since been moving towards the world stage, then it would only be fair to assume that Luke Campbell has been patiently waiting for the 23-year-old to arrive for a decade or so.
You can see that I'm improving in the ring. I'm being able to push myself more at every training camp. So, I believe I'm only just scratching the surface at the minute.
This is because Cool Hand has for nearly 10 years been competing with the best available fighters in and around his division. With the prior statement only heightened when considering in 2012, Luke Campbell won Olympic gold in the men's bantamweight boxing, defeating Ireland's John Joe Nevin in the final.
Yeah, look after it.
And although Campbell had mixed reception in the professional ranks, having dropped a split decision to fringe world contender Ivan Mendy in 2015, his career since has been anything but, with Campbell easily scoring 5 consecutive wins against a similar level of opposition, with 4 coming inside the distance. It was safe to say that Campbell was living up to his reputation as Cool Hand, and just as top-level performances are rewarded in other walks of life, boxing is no different.
A date in November, we're looking around the 14th, so hopefully we can move on that date soon.
And through the prior string of victories, Luke Campbell had positioned himself as a mandatory challenger in his next bout for his very first chance to fight for a professional world title, facing two-division world champion and supremely skilled Jorge Linares.
Very focused and determined, and I believe you're going to see the best of Luke Campbell.
And even if most were giving Campbell little chance to win, Luke had been here before, having been written off going into the Olympics. Rather, Luke Campbell would go into this fight full of confidence, believing with all his might that he would defeat the dazzling Venezuelan, regardless of bookmakers having him as a 3-1 underdog.
Can't remember the last time I had focus like this, but you know, I need it against such a great champion as Linares is.
And when it was all said and done, Campbell pushed Linares to the brink.
His confidence, has he finally got that belief now forward? You know what, I can win this fight.
Jorge Linares would manage to squeak out a slightly disputed split decision against the rangy Brit, though with an early knockdown being the key difference.
And a beautiful right hand floors Campbell in the second round.
However, in defeat, Campbell had put in a career-best performance and announced to the world a new lightweight contender. Moreover, the achievement of nearly dethroning the number one 135-pounder would truly be appreciated a little later on.
It's been 12 good rounds. It's been a terrific performance from Luke Campbell, despite maybe not being the one this time to win a world title.
The reason being was it would be revealed a few weeks on that Luke had already fought a much tougher fight a few days earlier. His body had been battered for 12 grueling rounds, but boxer Luke Campbell was feeling a pain far worse than the physical one. Few people watching this world title fight against Jorge Linares in September 2017 knew the Olympian was secretly grieving for his dad, Bernard, who lost his life to cancer 2 weeks earlier.
He's always told me to come out like a lion, keep my hands high, and just like you're gonna be a champion. That's all he ever said.
With a new ambition of wanting to fulfill his dad's dying wish of becoming a world champion, the Olympic gold medalist would go on to lick his wounds and further gain a slew of wins, including avenging his first professional loss against Ivan Mendy in dominant fashion. Once more, Campbell would be given an opportunity to prove his father right, but this time it was slightly different. Vasil High-Tech Lomachenko was the next champion Campbell would have to face.
Vasil Lomachenko proves he's out of class.
If Jorge was a world-level fighter, Loma was simply out of this world. Campbell was up against it. It is boxing's oldest adage that a good big man always beats a good little one. But tell that to Vasily Lomachenko. The brilliant Ukrainian defied a large height and reached a disadvantage to add the WBC World Lightweight title to his WBA and WBO belts with a gaping point victory over Luke Campbell. At the time, most boxing experts rated Lomachenko as the world's best pound-for-pound fighter. But on a night of jangled nerves and jumbled memories, Campbell did himself proud with a brilliant and courageous performance.
Luke Campbell was good tonight.
Really, he was better than good. He was brilliant tonight. He had to be to put on that performance.
Two judges made it 119 to 108, with another giving it 118 to 109, which seemed a touch harsh on the 31-year-old from home. Certainly the crowd thought so, as the fighters embraced at the end. 20,000 people at the O2 Arena stood up and chanted, "There's only one Luke Campbell."
Better than many thought he would, and he can go out of that with his reputation enhanced.
And while Luke would dust himself off and look for another couple of notable victories to get him back in title contention, this time it was different. Luke Campbell, for all the respectable performance he had put in, was now 33 years old. It took him 2 years after the losses of Ivan Mendy and Jorge Linares to gain the title opportunities.
You know, it is what it is. one of these, I'm a perfectionist. I want to go back to the gym and work even harder if that's possible.
Luke Campbell wouldn't have the luxury of taking a further loss and rebuilding for another year or two at this stage of his career. Another loss would surely signify the end of competing at the top level. This time around, everything is truly on the line for Luke Campbell. Perhaps such pressure is what has prompted a usually more calm, cool, and collected Luke Campbell to be more vocal in the build-up to his fight, having made it clear he has not been impressed with what he's seen from Garcia so far.
How do you see the fight going?
Well, I see me just breaking him down and stopping him.
Naturally, Garcia didn't take to Campbell's words too kindly.
Don't be surprised if I knock him out to the body, not the head. Just like your brother.
With so much seemingly fresh animosity towards each other still, it's hard to believe Garcia and Campbell were scheduled to a fight on December 5th in Los Angeles, if not for the fight being postponed after Campbell tested positive for COVID-19 on November 10th. Instead, Ryan Garcia will be fighting after his idol, Canelo Alvarez, has already fought and conquered British-based and then undefeated former world champion Callum Smith. And while it could be disheartening to follow up from such an act from the very same gym, Ryan Garcia isn't someone who lacks the confidence.
Hi guys, this is Ryan Garcia, The Flash, and this is how you hit the Cobra bag. Oh yeah.
On January 2nd, two men with polar opposite personalities will square off for a similar purpose, beyond Campbell's intention to maintain a promise to his late father, and further than Garcia's pursuit of even more heightened fame. Both fighters have a fundamental similarity when concerning each other. They both need a victory. It's why, when Ryan Garcia and Luke Campbell clash on January 2nd, the whole world will be tuning in with their eyes peeled. Is the hype for real, or will the upset materialize? Will a father's dream come fulfilled, or was it never meant to be? This is what high stakes is all about. Everything is on the line. This is life. This is boxing. This was Ryan Garcia versus Luke Campbell. A closer look.